Welcome to the Screen Time Continuum. It is a wonderful Wednesday. We are here to give you a new review. Thank you for joining us. My name is Keelan, and as always, I am here with the fellas. Nick, how you feeling? How you doing? Is it hot over there?
Man, I am already sweating, but I'm doing okay. And it's Thursday.
Is it Thursday?
It is. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm,
It's
I'm gonna
okay.
run with it's
We're off.
Wednesday in
We're
my
off
mind.
schedule. Right. Yep.
Oh man, all right. Well, shoot, it's Thursday. Should I start the whole intro over? Did I mess it up that
Yeah.
bad?
Let's run it. Let's do it all over again. Come on.
All right.
Cue the music.
I'm joking. Cue the music. Hey, Mike, what's going on, brother? How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling fantastic.
That's amazing to hear. I'm glad to
Yeah,
hear it. I
And we got
glad
too
to
am
say.
well.
Siobhan.
Hey, Siobhan, what's going on? How you doing over there, Siobhan? She says, "Hiya, fellas."
Long
Thanks for
time
tuning
no
in.
see.
Happy
Yes,
Thursday.
indeed. Happy Thursday. I too am doing well. It is hot
Nobody
and
asked,
sunny.
Keelan.
No. I'm giving this. I don't. You know me. I don't wait till people ask. I'm just sharing.
I know.
I'm in a sharing mood.
Yeah.
But no. I'm doing good. I don't know.
Staying
I'm
cool.
kind of no, not at all.
No,
I don't care how many
not at
fans,
all.
AC. Yeah, listen, it's just I don't know what's going on with this heat lately. This is not the typical heat we get for this time of year. I mean, it gets hot, but usually the sun goes down, and you got to throw on a windbreaker at least and some pants.
Is it
Lately,
hot?
it's like this. You know what?
Yeah, we're
Lately,
done with you.
yeah.
For some reason, Mike is impervious to the heat now, and that doesn't make any sense to us.
Not
Mm-mm.
at all. Not even to me.
I'm like, I can't even explain it. I don't even have any more jokes for it. I'm just like, I'm over the fact that you have not felt this. But I also
Yeah.
envy the fact that you're not sweating and losing like 3 pounds a day right now, like everybody else.
I
Um,
wish I was losing weight. I'm just sweating. Come on now.
just slipping on cotton, talking about why is it so wet?
I would
But
exercise, but it's too hot. I can't do it.
oh, the only time to exercise now is before 8 a.m.
Five in
If
the
you
morning.
exercise, yeah, you
Yeah.
exercise after 8 a.m. right now in California, or at least in Southern California, you've lost your mind and you're too desperate to lose weight. Just change your diet. Trust me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Siobhan's got some more. Been handling business. Well, good. Hopefully the business is handled. Glad to have you back,
a
though. That's for sure. She says that
Absolutely.
she's
she's
been
standing
over
on
100
business.
here. Yeah.
Oh
It's
God,
gross. Yeah.
yeah,
It is gross.
I know it was like 115 in Vegas the other day when my sister was
Yep.
there.
Yep.
man. Listen, yeah. I forgot. I heard people talk that were in Riverside talking about 118, 113. I'm like, what? And that's
Yeah.
only up the road. In fact, quick funny. So in Long Beach about a week and a half ago, let's see, yeah, it was about a week and a half ago. In Long Beach area, it was about 92. You go all the way out to Sherman Oaks, and it was only 84. And I was I was crying, laughing so hard because
Yeah.
that's the exact opposite of what you expect. The valley is usually 10 degrees hotter than anything down towards the water, and it was the
Nope.
exact opposite.
Not Long Beach, man. Long Beach is like hot like a swamp, and it's pretty gross.
Long
But
Beach
we
is pretty
should we
hot.
shouldn't talk about the weather anymore.
Well, I was gonna use the weather to talk about how when you shoot things in Beverly Hills, which apparently their weather never gets crazy
Ah,
because nobody ever complains. See, I was
that's a
getting
great
there. Beverly
segue.
Hills
All
is
right, perfect.
right in
Good
between
job.
the valley and Long Beach, you know?
Nicely done.
But yeah. I was in that area really quick just to say what I was gonna say. I was in the Beverly Hills area also about a week and a half ago, that same week that I was out in Sherman Oaks. And the most interesting thing was I saw people wearing like overcoats. I don't have enough money to understand that.
What?
And apparently
If I
neither
could
does
take my
AXEL
skin off, I would at this point.
Damn.
I just that's really why I was like, run the weather. I could talk about this one. Yeah, I saw people wearing overcoats in the Beverly Hills Rodeo area. I was so confused. And I immediately did exactly what I just said. I assumed I don't make enough money to understand what the hell was
Well,
going on
yeah,
there.
that's mink, baby. You got to wear that year round.
Hey, you know what? What did Pimp C the rapper say? He said, "Ain't no temperature on TV. Ain't got no uh weather.
Who?
It ain't
Yeah,
got no temperature."
that's
Pimp
true.
C, Chad Butler. Do your homework, man.
Do your
Who's that?
homework, Mike. Come on, you don't
Chad
know Pimp
Butler.
C?
Is he one
Come
of
on,
them young whippersnappers?
he probably is.
No, unfortunately, rest in peace, Pimp C. He's no longer with
Oh,
us. He hasn't been with us
shit.
in
Look what we
Ooh,
did,
almost
Mike.
20 years, I think now.
No, it ain't been that long.
You
Can't be
sure?
that long.
At
Sure.
least 10.
At least. Okay, I'll give you 10.
Yes, indeed. Well,
Siobhan says she wants to visit Cali. Okay, so here we go. Since we're talking about Beverly Hills Cop, we'll give you a little bit of insight about Southern California. Do come to visit. Don't go to Hollywood.
yeah, don't do that.
What other tips do you have for somebody who
Um,
wants to visit California?
don't go to
Everything that looked like
Hollywood.
a boy ain't a boy, and everything that looked like a girl ain't a girl.
So,
That's everywhere in
I don't think
America at this
right.
point.
I mean, I don't think that that's like one of the main points, but okay,
But
sure.
especially in
Oh,
Hollywood.
be
Well,
careful of
yeah.
the food you find on Instagram because some of it is somebody's driveway.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
apartment.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That doesn't mean it's
Um,
not good food. It just means you're gonna be caught off guard when you get there.
Yeah.
Beverly Hills is cool if you got thousands of dollars to spend. Um,
Mhm,
but
mhm.
you could also
Or
just
if you just
go.
want to get something to eat, you can get
That's true.
That's
an
true.
expensive meal because it's gonna cost more than the average, but it's gonna still be good and it's still kind of affordable as long as you got some disposable income.
Yeah,
What I
yeah.
Yeah.
mean.
Right.
$90 t-shirts all up and down Rodeo.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Sometimes, oh yeah, $600 pair of jeans.
Oh man, I wouldn't know. I go to the swap meet.
Hey, right behind you. Um, let's see. One more thing about Southern or at least California. Oh, the Bay and LA are not the same place, so
No.
just know that.
Yeah, that the Bay is up by San Francisco
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
Oakland,
Well, and don't go to downtown either. There's
and
no
that's
reason.
8 hours to drive away.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So Mike's a
Downtown is
girl.
full of
Yes.
all the worst things. It's what you see on TV
Yeah.
when you see the
Don't go to
bad parts of
downtown.
LA. That's downtown. What you seeing?
For the most
Yeah.
part, yeah. If you go to Staples
So
Center, stay right there by Nokia Live. Don't go nowhere
Yeah, don't
else.
go nowhere
and
else.
then don't go anywhere else. And yeah, exactly. Great. And don't even take an Uber or anything because you might get mugged or something.
Right.
So that's
By
what
the
Siobhan
driver.
says. So Mike is a girl. Yes, by his logic, he is a girl because he said that you can't trust the appearance of boys and girls in LA. So there you go.
You can
I
trust me.
Got him.
I stand by what I said, but you can trust me.
If you want a good beach, you should go down to
Dockweiler.
Newport.
Dockweiler's good. Santa Monica, Newport is great. Huntington Beach is really nice too.
Huntington Beach
Uh,
is
Great.
fine.
did they clean those
Don't
up?
Yeah, Huntington Beach is really nice.
I'm
Yeah.
at Dockweiler.
Oh, Dockweiler? Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
little bit more off the beaten path, so I think it's fine. Just don't go in the ocean because that's all poop water.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of
Well,
poop water
I thought
lately.
ain't that the point though to go? Oh,
Well,
shit,
if
what
you
do
want
I
to go,
know?
if you want to go swim, then you can go up to Zuma in Malibu. That's usually pretty good
You know
because
what? There was no beaches
that's
in this
far
movie,
enough away from the poop pipes.
right? You just guys have made me realize there were no beaches in this movie. That confuses me.
No, there's very little
Well, it's
Beverly
not
Hills
about
in
the
this
beaches.
movie.
It's about Beverly Hills.
Is it though?
I mean, there's
Is it
one
though?
shot of the courthouse, and that's about it.
Well,
Yeah.
they the impound yard is off the dock.
The impound yard is like definitely downtown LA.
But
Right.
the shot
Or
that they shot it from was near the water.
Yeah, but it had
am I saying
freeway
that?
overpasses. There's nowhere in Beverly Hills that has a freeway overpass.
No,
Nope.
no,
Not
there
even
isn't.
one.
Yeah.
No.
They only did that all the way through LA so that you could avoid going through certain areas. But that's another conversation.
Yeah.
Do your homework, guys. 105 highway. Look that up. Google a history on that.
Yeah.
Fuck the 105. I mean, sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
but
Yeah.
let's get into it, guys. So we're here to review the new movie, the new installation to the series that has made you laugh, chuckle, buckle, and sometimes just walk the hell out of a theater, depending on which one you want to see.
Since the
Beverly
80s.
Hills Cop. Since the 80s, for sure. It's about what,
Yeah.
40 years in the making for this one.
Something like that.
Yeah, I think it's legitimately about 34 years in the making. But yeah, here we are to give you guys a good old regular. And when I say regular, it's not regular. It's just, probably one of the better things you'll see on Netflix right now. But we have a lot of time to discuss what I mean by better. Beverly Hills Cop Axel F, the newest installation and newest movie by Eddie Murphy is what we're here to review. Once again, we appreciate everybody for tuning in, coming over to listen to what we had to say about this. I also appreciate you for sticking through our banter to get to this point where we actually bring up the movie. if you have not seen the movie Beverly Hills Cop Axel F, it's been out a while, maybe like a week at least, maybe two. So if
Yeah.
you are interested and you haven't seen it, I'm wondering the hell you've been doing. If you're not interested and you're here listening to our review because you want to know if it's worth watching, you got about, some time to listen. So go ahead, look down at that timestamp, understand that, yeah, we're almost we're almost getting to that point where we're going to tell you a little bit more about the movie, but it's not quite
But
now.
not yet. Did Eddie Murphy get one of those Adam Sandler deals with Netflix?
I think so.
Yeah,
I
seems
think
like
so.
it did.
Because this is
But
what the fifth one or something like
It's
that
number
movie he's done.
4.
but
Oh
I think
yeah,
we
yeah,
caught
yeah,
that, Nick. I think we caught that. It wasn't that You People came out, and then it was
Candy Cane
the
Lane.
Candy
Candy
Cane
Cane Lane.
Lane.
That's when we caught it.
Yeah,
We were like, wait, Candy Cane Lane. Like I think there's probably about 3 or 4 more Eddie Murphy movies coming on Netflix. This would be
yeah,
the third installation.
right.
Um, and I think that would be actually pretty cool because what Eddie has to be in his late 50s,
60.
almost 60 something
Yeah,
He
by
just
now.
he's
got
like
married.
like
Really
63.
Yeah,
nice.
he married a
Congratulations to
white
Mr.
woman,
Good
and,
Murphy.
for him.
and women were upset about it.
That's all
Uh-oh.
right. Oh yeah, he is 63. You know
Yeah.
what? Eddie Murphy, as long as he's been in the game, as many women as he's been with, black, white, and in between, I don't think anybody has a real say or should have a real say on a 63-year-old man deciding to be with somebody of the other persuasion at this point
Come
because
on, brother.
hold on, brother. No, legitimately, because there's been times where remember when he was with Mel B, everybody said that that was a problem because she was an American. Like when does the complaints end?
It doesn't. That's what you got to understand.
That's kind of my point.
What was the
So
race of that nice lady that he picked up in Hollywood that one time?
that was a black lady,
Okay,
or
cool.
Wait. What do you mean, lady?
you right, but that's what I'm saying. I
What do
don't.
you
I'm not
mean,
sure how they.
lady?
I'm not sure how they identify. I didn't go back and read the articles.
Right.
It was a they them.
Now there you go.
That's fair. That's fair. I think that's respectful. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Like
mean that with all the disrespect I can muster.
you you would.
I
Yeah.
would.
But yeah, Beverly Hills Cop Axel F is a 2024 American action film. Pew, 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 that's directed by Mark Malloy, who I think is actually a new director. I don't
yeah.
think this is his very first work, but he's definitely fresh on the scene. I think I know what I did read on him is he's worked for big brands like Nike and things like that. He did a little bit of something, I think, on the Batgirl television show, but I think that's the full
Man,
extent of his background.
they are just throwing money away, honestly. Like where can I get one of these Netflix directing gigs because they're just giving them to anybody.
It does seem true.
I
Yeah.
don't get it. You don't need to be good anymore. You could just like pop over to Netflix and be like, "Hey, can I have a movie?" And they're like, "Sure."
Yeah.
What do you do?
Then what the
I sell shoes. Oh yeah, definitely. We got something for you.
I
then what
definitely
the
think
hell are we doing wrong?
I mean, right, I'm gonna say
I
we've
know.
definitely
That's what
done
I'm
the audio
saying.
and camera time to get a deal. I don't know what's going on. We got to get some better representation.
I agree.
I think that's really that's all we're missing is the correct representation. Any representation, I don't think will cut it, but to get the right representation, we should be able to get in there. Um, oh, I found out that this movie, Axel F, is supposed to be a direct sequel to number 3. The only part of this entire series that tanked.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh
After
yeah, it
2, I
tanked.
think it was kind of like, all right, we get it.
3 apparently only made about a third or 2/3 of the budget back
Oh
Yeah.
damn.
in America, at least. Yeah, I think the budget was like 75. They made about 43, something like that. Yeah, didn't do too well. Um, actually, that's a little less than 2/3. Huh? It's probably like anyway. I'll do the math on that later. Anyway, so Axel F, 2024 American comedy starring Eddie Murphy,
Kevin
Joseph
Bacon.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Taylor Page, Judge Reinhold, John Ashton, Paul Reiser, Bronson Pinchot or Pinchot, yeah, Kevin Bacon, and a cameo by Luis Guzman. I think that's all the people that you would notice in this movie. There was a couple of faces that looked familiar, like the one of the robbers at the beginning almost looks like the guy who plays M'Baku in Black Panther, but I figure it's not him, just somebody who you know big black guy, so that makes me wrong for even putting it out there like that.
That's racist.
How dare
Yeah,
you?
yeah. I
Yeah.
figured it was, but I needed somebody else to point it out for me.
Don't worry,
This,
the white man will tell you.
I appreciate you. You know, in today's world, who better to call me out on that one?
Yeah.
We are right.
Yep.
Look, on and off camera, we ain't shit.
Nope.
This movie was released July 3rd. It has a running time of 118 minutes, and the budget for this was $150. $150 million. Whoa, $150
Really?
budget for a movie would be crazy. Yeah.
Wow. I guess it
Yeah,
was
it
all the
seems high.
explosions and destroyed vehicles and stuff.
Well,
Well,
you have to consider if we're comparing it to the older films, inflation budgets were
Or was that just
different. The
Eddie
technology
Murphy's
was different.
budget?
yeah,
I mean, his
35 of
cut.
that went 35 of that went to
Yeah, I'm sure.
probably.
I'm sure, yeah, as it should. I mean, this may not. So I found out doing a little research on Axel F. I always thought that Beverly Hills Cop was a brainchild of Eddie, and turns out I was wrong for a couple of reasons. The original screenplay was uh, written, or excuse me, was based on characters that were created by Danilo Bach and Daniel Peter or Petrie, I believe, something like that. I gotta look at it. I read
Wasn't
all
it
of this earlier.
wasn't it a Jerry Bruckheimer movie?
So Jerry Bruckheimer, I guess, is the person who pushed it, took it to the studios, and got it
Yeah.
picked up. And he's kept it. You know, he even was producer on this one, so he's kind of
Oh,
kept
okay.
this going all this time. But yeah, no, I thought it was Eddie and Jerry. I thought that's where this. I thought this was their brainchild altogether, and I found out that that is not true. But they did all the legwork. They did all the work to make it what it is today, and it's even produced by Bruckheimer Films and Eddie Murphy Productions. This particular one. So I also heard something funny about the fact that he doesn't use that laugh
Spandex.
anymore.
All
Oh,
spandex.
spandex. uh, this is also the first film of the series that is not distributed by Paramount Pictures, which is why it's available on Netflix. I mean, hey, it would have been available on another application, but we got it on Netflix instead.
Okay, I got another interruption question. How does Netflix make money? I still don't understand this.
I don't know to this day. I guess the same way Spotify makes money.
They sell their
No,
souls
no.
to the devil.
Like it really doesn't make any sense to me how Netflix makes money. It's the only streaming service that doesn't have ads. And
Not
it's
yet.
still but it still makes money somehow to throw $150 million around easily. Where does it get its revenue back from?
Streams.
I guess
Like I
the
said,
subscription service is just so much
Well, that's
that
why
like
the fees keep going up.
that is probably why the
I
fees keep
guess,
going up.
yeah. That makes sense.
But I figure we'll figure out a lot of this um in the future. We'll find out that a lot of these streaming sites services, whether it be music and or movies and films and things of that nature, even the old school stuff like TMC, because they don't, that channel doesn't exist anymore on networks. I mean, excuse me, on
Yeah.
cable, but they have an app for it.
Which network?
TMC.
TMC?
Yeah.
Turner Movie Classics.
I thought it was Turner Classic Movie. TC. Oh, okay. What do I know?
Whatever. Hey, you know what? Correct me, just don't take me
I
down.
could be dyslexic, so who knows?
I don't know. I'm getting old and my brains don't work so good.
We really even haven't started talking about this movie. That's not a good sign.
I mean, we'll get to it. I'll say up front, I don't hate it, but we'll get to that in about two more beats.
Okay.
But yeah, so let me throw out there. It's already said that there should be and will possibly be a fifth Beverly Hills Cop installation. I'm not sure how that's going to go, but we'll talk about that at the end of all of this. And then the last beat that I had is, oh wait, no, that was the last beat I had. I skipped one because it's not worth bringing up. Yeah, so let's get into Axel F. There is no need to talk about Eddie Murphy's laugh. Like that's just not a thing. Oh,
He doesn't do it anymore.
he doesn't. Apparently, that's what I was actually going to say. What made me realize and what made me look up the fact that this wasn't an original Eddie Murphy and Jerry Bruckheimer production, like they didn't come up with this on their own at first, is the fact that Sly Stallone was actually the original cast for Axel, and he actually began shooting the first movie before he backed out.
Yeah, it's funnier with Eddie Murphy.
Oh, are you kidding me? Of course it's funnier. Just doesn't have as much action. And that's where Rosewood's character gets all of the guns and everything because it's kind of a hint to that. Like the entire series of all the things Rosewood does, the Rambo knife, even in this particular one, is a hint back to Sly Stallone. Like, look what you missed out on. And it's like, yeah, it wouldn't have been that. It's
You
like
know,
Val Kilmer being Morpheus. It just wouldn't have cut
ugh.
Yeah, we already got Kindergarten Cop. We couldn't have, you
it.
know.
That's a good one. So yeah, let's get to this. So we already went over who's in this movie, who produced it, blah 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 blah, because I don't want to repeat all of that. What do you guys think about this movie? Let's get some first impressions in here. Let's start talking about some of the motions and movements of this and get through it. Mike, what
Yes.
were your first impressions of Beverly Hills Cop Axel F?
Um. Well, first of all, I actually did think it had some pretty humorous moments. It wasn't like side splitting stitches, but it was definitely entertaining as far as Eddie Murphy. He got a few chuckles out of me. Uh, it was funny seeing Balky. If you know, you know. Um, Seeing him with the original two cast members was pretty funny too, especially if you're old enough to remember the original movies. Um, I thought the daughter was pretty cute, but she got on my nerves. I wanted to kick her in the stomach a few times because I just don't like that rebellious spirit that they had her have. I didn't really care for that, even though I can understand the circumstances being upset with your dad. At the same time, it's like, yeah, but at least you knew him, and there was reasons why you were separated. So anyway, that's that. We get into all of that later, but
That
yeah,
sounds very
I actually
personal.
enjoyed the movie. I thought it was pretty funny, um, especially being for somebody who doesn't really like comedies as much. I enjoyed it.
Nice, very nice. Nick, what did you think of the movie?
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I wasn't really that impressed by it. I found it kind of formulaic. I knew exactly what was going to happen the entire time, almost to the like within 10 minutes. I knew what the storyline was going to be, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it doesn't strike any new ground here. It also doesn't have the energy of the first movie. Eddie Murphy is so toned down in this. It's like I know that he's old and, that's okay and, people mature, but, like, the funny thing about, Beverly Hills Cop is that it's like a fish out of water story, and, he's so over the top that it's very funny. I thought that this was sort of tame. I just didn't really I don't know. I don't think that it captures the same spirit that the first movie did, and I really just over member berries. And I feel like this one sort of relied on the nostalgia factor.
You
And
remember?
yeah, I think that era needs to be done. I think we need to be done with trying to rebuild nostalgia. It feels like okay, well, we can't go back any further. If we're gonna start doing nostalgia, we're gonna be picking on things from like the early 2000s soon. And like I don't know. I just don't think that we need to do that anymore. Like it wasn't a bad movie at all. I enjoyed it. Like it was fine, but I also just found myself tuning out a little bit because it wasn't there was nothing here that grabbed my attention and told me I needed to pay attention. So I just felt like I could sit there and sort of passively watch it. Some explosions happen. Eddie Murphy gets a couple of good lines in, but I think that the writing kind of suffers, so he doesn't get a lot to work with. Um, but yeah, it's not a bad movie in any sense. I just didn't think that it was. I don't know. It wasn't as captivating as I was hoping that it would be.
Understandable. I think I can relate to both of you guys' take. For myself, I had low expectations for this coming in because I know that Beverly Hills Cop 3 was shit. Um, I was absolutely surprised when I even found out they were going to do another one. But not as surprised when I considered that, like Nick just said, all of the remakes that have been made. There was actually an interview I was watching about through the cast members, and they were being asked questions. And come to find out, the year that Beverly Hills Cop, the first one, came out, literally the top 7 movies of that era have all been remade. Even Footloose had a remake.
Did it?
Um, yeah, apparently, according to
Was
Kevin
Kevin
Bacon.
Bacon in it?
No, and that's why nobody knows it exists, and that's the point.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, but
Kevin
this is a
Swine.
this is a societal crisis, man. The crisis of uncreativity, just like rehashing the same things over and over again.
Well, everybody wants to relive their childhoods. And the people who are remaking these things, if you really look at it, these are things they grew up with, so they can't let go of them.
Yeah.
But overall, the movie in question that we actually watched, I enjoyed it. I thought it was decent because I had low expectations. I actually was talking to a friend of mine who watched it the day it came out. They were actually really excited about it, and I clowned the shit out of them. I was like, "Whoa, like you're really happy?" And they actually pulled my card and it was like, "Nah, it's the nostalgia of it. Like I grew up with this. This was my thing. Like one, two, three was shit, but it still was, Beverly Hills Cop." And I'm like, "Damn, you're right. Like you kind of don't get those long running series anymore, especially not good ones. Usually it's like the first one's good, the second one's okay, third one doesn't exist. For this one and two were both excellent. Three shouldn't exist, so this could kind of be three.
I don't remember 3 to be fair.
Don't worry about it.
Nobody does.
But I'll say this. Rosewood was like the acting chief at the time in three. That's all. Like that's how bad it was.
Who?
Rosewood, the guy who get. Never mind. Never mind. You remember Rosewood as we're talking about this.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Who?
Um, I thought the acting was decent. I don't know Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I like him as an actor. I didn't
I
care
didn't
for the
like him in
beginning
this.
of his performance.
He didn't need to be in this.
He didn't. He
No.
didn't. There were moments of his performance where I was like, oh, okay, there's the actor that I actually like to enjoy watch. But overall, I feel like his character was almost forcibly in there. Like, they got a couple of people that didn't show up from the originals, and because of that, they squeeze in this new character, Abbott.
Who?
Um, Outside of that, I mean, the way the
Who
story
from the
ran was
originals
smooth.
didn't show up because all the main people did.
All the main people did, but you had like the original chief in Detroit, he passed away.
Oh well,
Um,
come on, man.
but boy, then there was another, I think like two other officers or two other famous actors that had played officers in the movies, and they turned it down. So it just kind of left openings. I told you, man, I did a little bit of research. Calm down. That's why we got so much to talk about before we even get into the
Some of
meat.
those dudes was old when I was a kid and saw those.
That's true. That's
So I
true.
mean, Paul Reiser was probably in his 20s, right along with Eddie when they first did this.
Shit, Paul Reiser's the only person other than Eddie in their 60s that looked like they still had good knees and a good healthy liver.
That's because they the only ones that made enough money off these movies to
Damn,
be able
you
to
ain't
take care of their diabetes.
I can't even lie to you, but yeah, that's actually a really good response.
They all got the
Um,
diabetes.
so yeah, but overall, I thought the beats of this, the way it moved, actually worked out. But I do understand where Nick's coming from. Like, you guys got to just be a little more creative and come with it because when we're used to a certain level of information and a certain level of talent, this ain't it. But if you
Yeah.
cast all of the,
Well, no, I just think like it's the So for me, Beverly Hills Cop is funny because of the juxtaposition between Axel's character and this sort of very sterile, snooty Beverly Hills environment and the
right,
fish out of water sort of thing. And so, of course, now that he's older, he's not the fish out of water anymore. He knows Beverly Hills, all that stuff. But I still felt like there should have been a little bit of that there. I think they tried a little bit with like some of the characters you meet along the way and how things have changed and like how the cop car is small or whatever.
mm,
But I felt like they could lean into that a little bit more. So like it was like, oh, I know Beverly Hills, and then Beverly Hills has changed dramatically. From when he knew it. That might have made it a little bit more interesting to me, but they only really ran that gag like one or two times.
Because they
yeah,
made it
that
less
was the
about
introduction.
Beverly Hills being Beverly Hills, like they did
Yeah,
in
I
the
know.
original movies.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
was a family flick.
Yeah, it's the family flick, but I mean, like you see it from a mile away. If he's going to see his daughter is going to get kidnapped by the bad guy at some point, and he's going to have to save her. Like like it's just all very formulaic. So if it's going to be that formulaic, then just add in those little things that make him a fish out of water. Still,
Yeah,
I think
that's a fair
that could
point.
have that could have added to the entertainment, at least in my
Right.
mind.
I would have liked for them to make it not where his daughter is an attorney and a grown woman in her 30s. Make it the almost like a Rush Hour kind of a situation. This kid who just is rebellious and she's mad about what's going on and her parents and all this shit, and then she gets
That's what I
involved with the
hated.
wrong shit. What do you mean?
That's what I disliked. She was acting like a hurt teenager still.
Well,
Yeah, it's
because
always
in her
the
mind she
strange
was.
kid.
Yeah, in her mind she was, and that part I think gets covered a little bit at the end. I think the resolution should have been a little longer, honestly, but it wasn't. Um, so yeah, that's our introduction, our first thoughts, our opinions about everything else going on in the world related to this movie. So yeah, we bust in and so pause. We step into this movie where Axel is, being typical Axel. He's following a hunch. He goes on a mission that he's not supposed to go on because technically he's been pulled off the streets. But he talks another detective into getting him some hockey tickets, uses that to bust some jewel thieves, destroys a bunch of property as usual, and catches the bad guys. And I thought it was interesting because even the bad guys were like, "Hey, yo, what are we doing here?" I liked
Right. It's not
the
that serious.
Right. But at the same time, he's a cop that wants to make a difference in the world. And I think something that they were trying to promote at the beginning of this movie is the way the world's changed so much so that a guy like Axel, who is willing to risk and lose his life and his job and all the even his family for his beliefs in a safe city and all of those good things, they're the odd man out. If you're out here doing your job like that, then you're actually more of a danger than the criminals. At least that's how police work. Policing seems to be done nowadays. Um, on the
They
surface.
could have just paired him with a straight man,
Whoa.
and that would have been fine in the comedic sense, not like not that way.
Wait, what?
Straight man. So they could have paired him like how he has like the partner in Detroit who's like doesn't know. It's
A
like
goody
not
two
up for it.
shoes.
Yeah, the goody
Yeah.
two shoes. I think they kind of should have kept that through line throughout the entire movie because it would have reminded us that times are changing. Because like it is an interesting idea of this like old action hero cop that wants to have shootouts in the middle of the street, and drive trash trucks into people and stuff, and how that might like be perceived now, whereas back in the 80s that was awesome, and now it's like you're a homicidal maniac. It would have been interesting to sort of see it from that lens, and then have him take the straight man along for the ride and show him that he has more to offer
Well, they
than
kind of give us a version of that.
they kind of do. They kind of do. I guess Joseph Gordon-Levitt is supposed to be that character, but I just didn't really feel it from him.
Nah, in his own admitted words in the movie, he's a social worker.
Yeah, right.
Uh, so yeah, he catches the bad guys. He ends up talking to the chief. The chief is basically retiring, not just because he's tired of Axel's antics. He's kind of tired of the fact that they don't allow police to police anymore as well. He and Axel are in agreement that the job can't be done the correct way anymore. But in order to save Axel's job, the chief retires and tells Axel that he needs to grow up a little bit, go and catch up with his daughter, the same way he's going to go and spend some time with his grandchildren, one of which who he thinks is a sociopath, but we didn't get any more information on that. I thought that was actually funny as hell. Like
Yeah.
that's real grandparents and stuff. Like, my one grandkid, they're a sociopath, but I love him. I love him. Like you gonna love his little ass right into the pen, but it's all right. Um, so we end up learning about Jane, who is Axel's daughter. Jane Saunders, not Jane Foley. She's an attorney who has decided to take on Mr. Sam. What's the name? Sam Enriquez. I think his name
Oh,
is Sam Enriquez.
Mr. McGuffin.
Mr. McGuffin. Yeah, we see
Yeah,
him one time. But
Mr. McGuffin.
he takes on a guy who's considered a cop killer because he's now on trial for killing a cop in a crooked drug deal gone wrong. But uh,
But he
turns
didn't
out
do
that
it.
she's right, but he didn't do it. And the reason we know that is she's been put on the case by Detective Rosewood, who's now a PI, the guy from the former Beverly Hills Cops. And
Oh, you
he's
mean
told,
Judge?
yeah, Judge.
Judge Reinhold. Yeah.
Ugh. Oh,
Ugh.
I told you we was gonna start talking about it. And I'm gonna say Rosewood enough, and he's gonna be like, "Oh, that's what he meant when he said
Yeah.
Rosewood." Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, but yeah, she's been put onto the case by Rosewood, who really told her to find somebody from her firm to take it. But instead, she takes it. Which, of course, if she doesn't take it, we don't have a storyline to follow.
And it's a good
Uh,
thing she was right about her inkling that he was innocent.
Good thing.
Boy, oh boy, it was a good thing that that was true.
Or else she just be defending a cop killer, and her dad's a
Yeah.
cop, and you can't tell me
Yeah.
that's not about your hate for your
Yeah.
dad.
Yeah. All he says is, "No, it wasn't me. I'm innocent." And she's like, "Oh, good enough for me. I guess I'll go digging,
Right.
figure it out."
Well, and remembering that Rosewood had already done all the real meat and potatoes research. All she had to do was find proof of what he believed.
Right.
Mhm.
And that's what that's what Rosewood's whole thing was. That's what his talent was on the forces. He could kind of see through the bullshit, and he usually knew when something was going wrong. His hunches were usually his gold. And here we are later in Beverly Hills Cop 4, where once again, people like Axel, people like Rosewood, they're not appreciated. So Rosewood even ended up leaving the force, but we'll talk about that in a moment. So she decides to counsel Mr. Enriquez, um, and they discuss the fact that Copeland, the cop that he's accused of killing, was actually a drug mule and a cricket cop. Jane ends up being threatened, pushed off of a building by some real heavy hitters, which I thought that was crazy. Like, yeah, all right, cool. People go far, but you
Very
mean to tell me
I'll
inefficient.
I'll be honest with you. When I first saw that part, I was like, "That's not how that worked."
no?
Oh
It,
First off,
yeah.
the cable
Yeah.
that cable her car was hanging from ain't that damn strong. That's number
right.
one.
No.
Well,
No.
no, the cable is that strong. The problem is that car would have fell because it would
Yeah.
have ripped the engine right out, and the rest of the car would have just fell
That's a
Yeah.
fair point.
or off the bumper or whatever they had it attached to.
I think they had it attached to the frame in some way, but that's the theory. We never
The
got to see that.
axle. The axle would have
Yeah,
fallen off
Yeah,
anyways.
nice.
I did it.
Probably did hook it onto the axle.
Yeah.
But
It's a
why for
really
me that's
inefficient way to intimidate somebody so publicly. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so
yeah.
you didn't like send her a quiet message to drop the case. You threw her off of a parking garage, and
Mhm.
right.
nobody's gonna raise nobody. That's not gonna raise suspicion to
I mean,
anybody.
You mean
I don't
people
think they
didn't
needed
see
to.
that immediately?
Right. I would
Right?
think they didn't need to do any investigation. The moment you try to break this dude free and then that happens to you, I would assume it's in the judge's power to automatically,
Yeah,
hey, something ain't right here.
that's when the FBI gets involved.
Right? Internal affairs. Well,
Yeah,
technically one of those guys did get involved, but we'll get to that. Um, what I was gonna say is the reason for me that didn't make sense is didn't she park in a courtyard in a courthouse parking lot? So
I
how'd you
think
get that tow truck and all of you criminal people in there? Oh wait, never mind. I do actually know what
oh, they're working for the guy that's on the inside. Oh my god, who would have saw that coming? Kevin Bacon,
man.
plot armor
the evil looking guy is the evil
with
Man,
guy.
with the $2,000 shoes on.
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. So let's see. She gets pushed off the cliff. Rosewood comes to check on her. She tells him, "Don't tell her dad." And he's like, "Oh, I won't tell your dad. Of course not." And of course, he calls Axel, who comes immediately to Beverly Hills, takes off from Detroit, tells his boss what's going on, and he kind of has his back, like, go save your daughter. He has a really thick New York accent for somebody who's from Detroit. Uh,
Yeah,
he goes to Rosewood's office when he gets to Beverly Hills. First place he gets. I think it's interesting because I swear that's the same vehicle he drove in the original one, right? And they had it.
Probably
That
a
it seemed
bron
like
like
it.
a old is it a Bronco or
I don't know if it's a Bronco. I've been seeing. I saw a vehicle recently that I thought was a Bronco, and come to find out, it's a Toyota, like a Toyota Land
oh,
Cruiser.
oh, right.
Crazy. Um, but yeah, he gets his old vehicle. He ends up going to Rosewood's office. He finds some guys ransacking the place. They get into a fight in the pursuit. They chase him through the city, and he steals a meter maid cart, but ends up getting arrested for exactly that. Because of that, he meets Detective Abbott when he's taken to Beverly Hills PD. That's how they're introduced. And I don't know, Abbott seemed really interested in Rosewood from the beginning, which made me think that Abbott was crooked in some way. But Axel ends up calling his daughter as his lawyer to come and free him and get him out. She's hesitant at first. She hangs up on him, but eventually she does come out and get him. And the agreement is that he's going to tell her everything he knows about what Rosewood was doing and her information. We also find out that Detective Bobby Abbott and Jane had a little thing going on, but that couldn't go anywhere because she got daddy issues. At least she didn't end up on the pole. She just passed the bar.
That made my stomach hurt.
Oh, snap. Um, she said, I can't date cops after they had already been dating.
Right.
Stupid.
He had
You're already dating a
stupid.
cop.
No, they were just messing around, which
Oh, okay.
I thought that was a terrible way to put that in there. Like either they were dating or they weren't. Because right now y'all making it seem like she was his late night fling or vice versa.
Oh, they were having unmarital relations?
Relations.
Hmm.
Vomit.
Tisk, tisk, tisk.
We find out that Sergeant Taggart is now Chief Taggart. He although he retired, was that in 2 or in 3? He was supposed to be retired and moved to Arizona with his wife. He's decided to return from the force. She did leave him, but they are married again. So this is the 3rd time they've been married. And yeah, you only know that if you've watched the movies because that was just funny to me. I'm like, oh damn, Taggart got a new wife and he came back to the force. Like, nope, same wife.
Mm-hmm. That's why his stomach all messed up.
Ulcers, I'm sure. That shit. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was one of those quiet funnies, but you have to know the story to know. I was like, damn, same one. You still tell everybody, just don't get married, sir. You're the one who keeps marrying the same person. But yeah. So they meet Taggart. He meets Grant. They believe, or we find out that Grant vouches for Copeland, saying that he was a good guy, family man. He even coached a damn little league team for God's sake. Yeah, I'm sure he did. Swinging that coca like Sammy Sosa. Um, and yeah, Grant runs the Interdepartmental Narcotics Task Force, and that is immediately when we know that he ain't shit and he's the bad guy. But Axel lets us know that he also knows because he saw he was wearing $2,000 Gucci shoes. Now, for a guy from Detroit who only visits Beverly Hills once in a while, he could spot some Gucci shoes real quick.
Well, because people in Detroit
You,
know what a baller look like.
That's true.
well, and usually because those gaudy things have some sort of emblem on them that
Right. They
lets
got
you
that
know what they are.
that symbol on them that everybody
Yeah.
can recognize, no matter if you ever bought a pair or not.
I never seen any of those, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. But I might live in LA, but I don't, be out there like that. I don't be in them parts.
Overpriced, man. Overpriced BS.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
I'm sure. I'm sure
you know
Nike
more
used to
about
do
that
Yeah.
that.
stuff than me, and I can recognize it.
Okay, that's a fair point. But I say the
Mr.
same thing the
Model,
rappers
sir.
say. If it's real, I don't know what you're talking about. I say the same thing that the rappers say.
Merman.
Whether, whether it's real or fake, I can't tell the difference. I'm not even
Oh no,
looking at the clothes.
I ain't say you know that much.
Well, yeah. Got you.
I mean, honestly, though, I think that there's something worse than buying Gucci shoes is buying knockoff Gucci shoes. Honestly,
Why?
like because why they're tacky regardless.
Oh,
So
okay. Well,
why
when you
spend?
put it that way,
Yeah, like it's tacky no matter what. So why buy a knockoffs? Like, don't
but you
even
don't like
try to
them
buy it.
them African colors.
No,
Yeah,
oh no,
they
yeah,
don't
with the
customize
stolen
Gucci.
African colors. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't customize Gucci. And well, you mean the African patterns?
No, the red, the black, red and green.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
that too.
Mhm.
But apparently, all the patterns are also stolen. But that's another
I'm
conversation.
sure they are. They're gross. Same thing with Louis Vuitton. I mean, honestly, like, who wants a brown poop colored leather bag that has that has like Lucky Charms on it? I don't know.
Oh man, I have a hilarious story about modesty and high fashion, but that's for later.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, he's destroyed Rodeo already. He's met the captain, who happens to be his partner. He's met Abbott. He's now met the bad guy, Grant, and he knows he's the bad guy. So now we just got to put it all together and figure it out. Um, Axel and Jane talk about his terrible parenting and how he lies about being in therapy, and she talks about things that clearly show that she's been to therapy. And I'm like, all right, get to the next scene. They
Skip.
visit the police impound. I thought that was actually pretty funny. The whole he's trying to get the case going, she's trying to play him out, and the guy is just so dumb because he just wants his ass kissed because he was an extra in the movie.
Yeah, that's the part of the movie. Those are the parts of those movies that shine. It's whenever Axel has to talk himself in or out of a situation.
Mhm.
Um, and so it was nice to see that because like that's the character.
And that's
Yeah,
kind of what that scene is kind of one of the reasons why I didn't like her.
Oh
Why you
yeah,
such
because
a hater for no reason?
yeah, she tries to block him. Yeah,
because she just as good as he is. It's in the blood, sir. It's in her
she's
blood.
better. She's better.
She is better.
Right.
She made it. She's
Better.
made a career. Her career is literally talking shit and winning the argument. His
Hmm.
his career just he's able to utilize that skill. Her career is actually using that skill to make money.
Yeah, she's still a hater for no reason, and I didn't like it.
Mike said he was listening to that War and Peace. Who put you down with us? The haters.
That's right. I
Um,
remember that. I remember.
I remember. Remember berries everywhere.
Yep.
Um, Pause. Let's talk about the theme Axel F and the fact that this movie is named Axel F. Did anybody know that the reason that the theme song for this series is called Axel F? I
Uh,
never knew that was the name of that.
Yeah, because
but-
it's the theme song to the first movie.
Yeah, but that's the
Yeah,
name
they
of the song
usually.
itself.
Yeah, they usually because it's his character theme.
Right. I thought that
Yeah,
was crazy. I
yeah.
and
never knew.
Usually, if you have yeah, if you have a character theme, it's usually named after the character that it comes. Like in Star Wars, there's the Vader
Oh,
theme, and yeah.
you
So
know what? You're right. I guess that's not that.
yeah,
Yeah, I never really. You're right. Talk about putting two and two together. Information you have, but you never really put together. Okay, well,
yeah,
back to the deal. So they go to the impound lot. They find that Copeland did have a hidden camera in his car, but the SD card is missing. They're assuming that Rosewood got to it first, which they are correct. He did get to it, and he's the only person that knows exactly what happened, which is why he's trying to free this Enriquez kid. At the same time, Axel knows they're being tracked. He finds a tracker on his vehicle, on Jane's vehicle, puts him in a school bus. They see who's tracking them. They follow them to a private club, and that's where they find Captain Grant of the what was it? The intramurals, no I'm playing, of the Interdepartmental Narcotics Task Force, which is basically the intramurals for the drug gang. Like they not even but their job isn't even to bust criminals. Their job is to bust other cops. Like that's nuts. But hey, that's the job. Um, they meet Captain Grant there. He talks slick. They talk slick. He lets them go and then basically starts trying to kill them for the rest of the show movie.
yeah,
Um, Axel stakes out a place that he found the address to in Rosewood's office. Come to find out, it's the drug headquarters for where Grant's running everything out of, and the cartel and him do all their dirty business. Um, Bobby talks to Chief Taggart, gives him information on the Copeland case, shows him the camera, tells him, he's told to stop being so interesting, but he doesn't get the hint. And, it's not a self solver to him. Why? Because Axel, Rosewood, everybody's been there, and nobody once has mentioned the fact that there's a camera. And now he's curious to know if the boss, he ain't saying it yet, but you can see he's real curious to know if the boss is in on the BS. Um,
to be fair, I was thinking he might have been
I thought it,
early on in the movie.
at first I thought it could have been Abbott. Then I thought it could have been him. Then we met Grant, and I was like, okay. But I was thinking he was in cahoots with Grant because we do find out later that he trained Grant. He brung Grant in. Grant was his trainee, his boot as they call it. And then that's what kind of was saving Copeland's reputation at the same time is the chief had such a high respect for Grant, and Grant had such a high praise for Copeland. And that's how apparently Grant's been getting away with this the whole time, playing on his mentor's better half.
what is he doing?
What do you mean?
Is he just a drug trafficker?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay,
but he's
yeah,
at the
because
top of the food chain. That's all.
right. Okay, gotcha.
He protects the cartels.
I was about to say he's the
Okay.
guy that keeps the cartels in business.
I'm sure they would find out other ways to get into to be in business. I don't think that
Pretty
he's at the top of the cartels.
no, not of the cartels, just of the police
Yeah,
side of it. He's
yeah,
he's
right,
the first guy they pay off, basically.
right. Gotcha.
Well,
Um,
I think he's more than that because he kind of seems like he has more authority over the actual members of the cartel that's hanging out in the city, and even the uncle, who's a direct member, kind of had to bow down to him too. So he more than just some Rudy Poo who worked for the cartels. He got authority.
or towel.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, so he has the good authority to move forward. And let's see, we see Axel and Joe getting tailed. Abbott sees them getting tailed, and he ends up saving their life because they're being attacked by cartel hitmen in broad daylight, which means this is business. Ain't no mask on. You know, everybody knows what they say. When they got on the mask, they just want your jewelry and your wallet. When they come barefaced, they come to take you out, and they don't care who sees it. If you never heard that, that's LA saying, keep your head on a swivel and take that damn hat off.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, we turn out that Rosewood has tried to arrest the same guys that tried to kill Axel, and they were set free, and all the drugs they had was considered just powder and not actual drugs. Guess who the supervisor was on that case? Captain Grant. And for some reason, nobody's put two and two together. And this is the exact case that made Rosewood quit the force and become a PI. So none of this has been happening for too long, but just long enough to where you realize that Taggart's a lazy asshat who really wants to just make his money and should retire because you let your best friend leave the force over something that was very clear to understand. It wasn't self-solver, as he called it, just not in the way he said it was. Um, but yeah, Foley tries to tell Captain Taggart that Grant's a bad dude. Uh, Abbott tries to tell him the same thing. He just won't believe it. He can't believe it because that was his boy, as we called a minute ago. Axel accuses him of being involved. He gets kicked out. Abbott gets suspended, and they immediately go into road work. They become vigilante immediately. They call a guy Surge so that they can get into an open house that's next door to the cartel house. Axel jumps over the fence, goes and does a little recon work. He gets caught on camera, and immediately we see that Grant is notified that he's there, which proves to us what we all had already thought, that Grant runs that house for the cartels. But yeah, Jane at this point is actually ready. She has a reasonable doubt, which will help her win her case. She just wants to get all this over with. But, you know, the two gun happy or trigger happy police officers who just want to get busy in the streets, they want to go chase him down. They want to show, hey, you can't do that in my streets. Beverly Hills is mine, son. And she's upset about that because she realizes that this was never about her. Axel just wants to do his thing, and Abbott kind of is on the same chain, which is why she could never date a cop. But they go to see Chalino,
Yeah,
who is the
because you
uncle.
can't be dedicated to anything but me.
Yeah, that's right.
You can't have any other dedication. I want your full attention
Unless you're a
100% of
professional
the time.
athlete.
All the time, no matter what. No, even then, even when you're playing, you're going to have to be thinking about me.
Damn, Giselle.
I mean, like, seriously, that's the vibes I get a little bit. It's like, come on, man. You're 30 years old and you still
You're
want your dad
30.
to pay all his attention to you. Come on.
Yeah. Because he
Yeah.
wasn't there those last 5 years,
Yeah.
even though you're 32. How did
He wasn't
what was he
there
doing?
because he was being threatened. They were being threatened.
Right.
Like,
Well, for
yeah,
apparently for the other 27 years, he did perfectly fine because nobody ever brought up that.
right. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, they go to see Chalino, who agrees to listen and hear them out, and then agrees that he can help them out, give them a little bit of information, but he wasn't going to give them too much. And as they're leaving from Chalino's bar, I thought it was a strip club, but it was just a bar. They're actually arrested because they had some dope planted on
Cocaína.
them by Grant and his boys. So anyway, they go in. Axel gets free. He knocks out Grant. He gets Abbott. They escape in a helicopter because Grant used to be a helicopter pilot, but they end up landing on or crash landing on Shooter McGavin's private course. And
Was he? Why did he look so familiar?
Shooter McGavin,
Yeah. Happy Gilmore.
he's also an actor.
Nope.
Okay.
He's just Shooter McGavin. He usually played like the evil boyfriend in like a whole bunch of 90s movies.
Always.
Yeah.
Uh, let's
Too old for this shit.
go for this shit.
That's the wrong movie.
So yeah, they end up crash landing on Shooter McGavin's golf course. Jane goes to see Uncle Taggart, who now is on board, and he believes that Grant's crooked. And what do we see right after that? When she leaves, she gets kidnapped by clearly Grant. Like, why was he even wearing a mask? It's clearly you were Grant. Am I
I was
wrong?
thinking the same thing.
You're coming with me, sir. We know who you are. You don't have to
Like,
put
why
on
are
the.
you even wearing a mask? You know we know it's you, right?
Hey, well, they should have had Willem Dafoe play him when he has on a mask. Just use his Green Goblin voice.
Right.
Um, but yeah, after she gets kidnapped, Axel and Abbott go and they end up saving Rosewood at the docks because Chelino told them where to find him, and they avoid an ambush by tracking Jane's phone rather than just going where they were told, which is smart. But I mean, what are the likelihood of that happening? Taggart also arrives and he's in tow and ready to fight and save the day
Yay.
because everybody knows what has to happen here. Grant's got to go.
You
And
got to blow up a whole house.
right, they got enough firepower to take out half the cartel members that are there to protect and do what they need to do with the goods and the work. But that don't happen. Everybody loses. The four of them or five of them storm through the whole house, kill everybody. And my favorite part of the movie is when uh,
All of this damage just so a cartel member doesn't get got for murder.
yeah.
A guilty one.
I know he's guilty of one thing at least. So,
He
but
didn't. He may not
yeah,
have killed a cop, but a cop was killed in the commission of a felony means you still killed a cop.
Well, wait. So he
yeah,
wasn't
and he's
technically.
probably killed people before.
Well, no. Remember, he's
No,
not a cartel member. He's supposed to be a good kid who just was doing a
Yeah,
favor for
sure,
his
he's a
uncle.
good. Yeah, oh right. Yeah, so
hey
he's a
Keelan, we're all
family of a
good
cartel.
kids.
Yeah, everybody's a good kid.
I mean, he's not a mule, guys. I'm only going based on the storyline. He didn't have no face tattoos or
It's
none of that.
so stupid. I mean, like, it's just dumb that you're gonna blow up half of Beverly Hills just to get some, criminal off of murder charge. Like,
Yeah,
you could have established that he was clearly innocent in the movie, and then everybody would have been like, "Yeah, that's worth it." But they didn't even try to establish that he's innocent. He just says, "I'm innocent. I didn't do it." Come on.
Well, just because he didn't kill the cop didn't mean he wasn't still a drug mule.
he
Yeah,
was definitely still a
exactly.
drug
Of
mule.
And
course.
being a drug mule in possession of drugs of a felony amount on top of having a murder cop with the murder weapon right there in your lap means you did it no matter what the circumstances.
Yeah.
You taking all those charges, buddy.
Yeah.
That's a fair point.
No, let's blow up Beverly Hills so that this guy doesn't do any time.
So he gets so he gets 5 years less than
Yeah,
his life
exactly.
sentence.
Yeah. Why not
When
just
they're
frame a clearly innocent man? That's all I'm saying. It just makes it a lot easier for
Right.
me to
And
be
then the
like, okay.
nephew of the drug lord too.
Yeah, exactly.
the
I
known
mean,
drug
make that
lord,
all make sense.
they were two fathers or father figures about to lose the children that they love.
All right, this is a
Oh,
family movie.
This is
oh,
a
there
fact.
we go. That
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
more sense.
If it wasn't a family movie, why else would Taggart arrive at the end with extra gun to make sure that Rosewood had what he needed?
You mean that one shotgun?
That one shotgun.
That
And
bolt
And
no,
action
he gave
shotgun?
him
the
he gave him that
38
mini
special.
357. Was that 38?
It was just a 38 snub nose, I think.
Ankle snub.
Yeah. He did some damage with that. He got like 2
Yeah.
guys with that, so that's good.
Yeah, there's only 6 shots. 4
Yes,
of
it
them he
was.
missed.
Use them wisely. But a tussle or a shootout ensues. Essentially, Axel walks into a room. Grant has a gun pulled on him. He has somebody sneak up from behind him. Jane kills them because she was able to grab a gun. After that, Axel. I forgot why did Axel drop his gun? I don't even remember now.
Because the dude Kevin Bacon was about to shoot his daughter, and he jumps in the way.
That's actually exactly what happened.
Yeah. and then
I'm sitting
Joseph
here like, wait, no,
Gordon-Levitt.
no. Yeah, that's exactly what happens.
Yeah, and then Joseph Gordon-Levitt comes in and shoots Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon, right
Mhm.
between the
Kevin
eyes, right
Swine.
Yeah.
But yeah, Axel dives in and he ends up getting shot, taking a bullet for his daughter. Abbott shoots Grant, as you just said, and Jane and Axel
Right in the sweet spot, in the spot where you know they're not going to die. I love that there's that spot. Everybody knows that one spot. It's like right above the lung in the shoulder,
Mhm.
and you know that they're going to be fine because that's where everybody gets shot.
Dang,
It's true.
that's no, yeah. I don't think I ever thought about it that way.
It's the one spot you get shot in movies where you know the person's going to be okay.
You mean in the shoulder where the bullet
Yeah,
can pass right underneath the shoulder blade?
Yes, exactly. And it doesn't touch the lung at all.
Right.
Yeah.
What lungs?
Yeah, no lungs there.
What no breathing in this movie? What's wrong with you?
No, I know.
Everything's wrong with me.
But yeah, no, so that's pretty much the gist of it. Axel gets shot, he goes to the hospital. He basically endorses a relationship between Abbott and Jane.
Oh boy.
He sneaks out to go and get a burger that he doesn't end up touching because Jane caught him, so she takes him back to the hospital. They both
I
he
thought he ate it.
apologizes. He hated. I think he might have took a bite, but I remember they were walking away, and I was looking in the background, and that plate had a whole burger on it still.
But when they were sitting there, it looked like it was eaten, and it was just like a piece left.
Hey man,
Yeah.
props, bro, props.
Hey man, what do I know? I just like food, and now I want a burger.
Don't y'all. Look, don't y'all.
Where is
but
that
yeah,
Norm's at?
It's
there's
no
definitely
longer
not
there.
Norms in Beverly Hills.
Yeah, it's definitely not there anymore.
Mm.
Maybe like Sentinella and
I swear I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, maybe in the Sentinella, going back towards Inglewood area, that's the closest one.
yeah.
I don't think there's very many of them left open. I think most of them are closed now.
Yeah, I think
That's
so.
true too. Actually, look, the closest Norms to Beverly Hills is probably in Hawthorne.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, they make up. He goes back to the hospital. Jane and Abbott, I guess, decide they're gonna work it out because we didn't get any follow up on that. But remember, this is gonna be number 5. And then you have Rosewood and Taggart with Axel sitting in the unmarked vehicle when he's supposed to be in the hospital because he crept down on him, just like he did in the very first one when all of this began. And it gave us a nostalgic moment of them bantering for a minute before deciding to go and get some steaks.
And I bet you anything, any kind of money, the next movie starts with them all at the strip club right after that scene.
As it should.
Mm-hmm.
As it should, because it's not a Beverly Hills Cop movie unless Axel takes somebody to a strip club. So this was definitely a family movie because they had nothing of the sort. They'd rather us watch Luis Guzman with painted nails sing.
Yeah,
While sitting on
glitter.
stage.
I thought that was a
And
tragedy.
eyeliner.
It's Luis Guzman. That's what made it funny because he
Uh,
does shit like that all the time.
What have they done to my boy?
My
Right.
boy.
It was kind of disgusting.
But
All right, let's get to rating this thing.
yeah,
It's
I was gonna
over.
say,
It's
yeah,
done.
we have nothing more on this one.
No.
I can go first on ratings and final thoughts. So my final thoughts are, like I said, I did enjoy the movie. I can totally understand all of the different takes on it, but for me, it came off a lot better than I expected, and I've come to terms that if I lower my expectations for things, then I'm usually not as disappointed. At least not as disappointed as Nick typically is, because Nick has high hopes and he has faith that you're getting paid all of this damn money. You're going to give us a good product. But he
Please,
knows it's not true.
someone, please do it at some point. I would love that.
What did
But-
did you say Disney? I couldn't
Did I
hear you
just-
clearly.
Did I just
Damn.
catch you being
Yeah.
wishful and shit?
Yes. My bad. My bad. I'm sorry.
Hey, I've been there with you a million a day, brother. It's all
I
right.
know.
But yeah, I mean, action wise, this movie was fine. I actually think it was a little low impact on the amount of action, but the action we did get was action packed. I'm glad they didn't try to make Eddie run or anything, because come on, bro, we know that's not happening.
What is he, 90?
I'm gonna let you have that discussion with him.
He's closer to 90 than he is to Beverly Hills Cop 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's 63.
Yeah, he don't need to be running nowhere.
No.
Cause I ain't even close to. I ain't that close to 90, and I don't want to run no damn where.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they had Will Smith and Martin out here running recently. So
They
No,
really
they
did.
have maybe Will, but definitely not Martin. You see, he can barely stand.
damn.
I don't know if you saw that interview or that.
I don't know if that was what they say it was, but we'll talk about that at a different moment. I don't want to take any more away from Eddie Murphy and his movie right now.
Uh huh.
Uh, but yeah, so yeah, again, I actually did like it, but because my expectations were pretty low, it was kind of easy to satisfy me versus having me try to figure out what I did and didn't like. The reality is, it did remind me a lot of the first two. It kind of brought that feeling back of kind of a fun cop flick. Because of that, I can still give this about a 4 or 5. I give it a 4.5, in fact. I wanted to give it like a 6, but I just feel like that's overshooting. Nothing really validates that. And I think anything lower just means that I don't like the movie, and I do like the movie. So yeah, just gonna get a 4 or 5 from me.
Wow.
Yeah. Mikey.
All right. I did like all the. I did like the story. I thought the acting was good. I didn't like Jason Gordon-Levitt's character all that much, especially in the beginning. But he kind of grows on you a little bit because it is Jason. Um, but for the most part, I did
Joseph.
Joseph. Whatever.
Yeah, wrong white boy name.
Right. Right. Whichever one he is. The one with the. Never mind. I won't make that joke.
Brandon, Kyle.
Or he-
Tanner.
Tanner is a good one.
um, and I didn't really care for the daughter's character, but I thought she was a beautiful woman. I just didn't care for the way they portrayed her in the movie, being a spoiled crybaby. Well, I guess spoiled ain't the right word, but you know what I'm saying.
She
I
was
didn't
a
care for
she.
that.
A
Huh?
bratty 30-year-old.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Eddie was pretty funny. I thought they had pretty good chemistry on screen for the most part. So, as far as the story, it has holes in it. Of course, I didn't care for Mr. Guzman being a little too flamboyant for my taste, but it is what it is. It was still pretty funny. So for that, I gave it a solid 5. Didn't hate it, didn't love it, but I was able to get a few chuckles out of it, so it was worthy.
I had to go back and check something really quick.
Uh-oh.
I have to give this a solid 5 as well. Really quick, I do want to explain.
He's
I wanted to
copying
know.
you, Mike.
No. I would never. What just not being funny. I copied Mike one day, and I got the exact same order he got at a restaurant. I don't copy Mike anymore for a reason. Um,
Your little
but
tummy can't handle it.
yeah. um, I had to go and see what I rated unfrosted because I like this more than unfrosted, and I think I was the only person who kind of thought unfrosted was decent.
Which one is that?
The
The
one about
Seinfeld
popcorns.
one.
Who?
And no, don't worry about it. But I thought this was actually funnier, and I like this more, so I at least gotta give it the same. I gave Unfrosted a 5 for its originality. This didn't exactly have originality because it was nostalgic, but it did its job, so I have to at least give it a 5.
It was packed full of member berries.
That's right.
That's right. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna give this a 4.5 or 4.5. It's not a bad movie at all. I just found it pretty formulaic. I don't think that it captures the same charm that Beverly Hills Cops 1 does. I think that the action is kind of lackluster. For as much explosions and crashes and gunshots and stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'm just fatigued by all that. So maybe that's just a personal preference.
But you don't like Michael Bay anymore?
No, man. I'm so over gun battles in the middle of public where nobody ever calls the cops. You know what I mean? It's like it's so
You mean you don't like
bizarre.
You don't like A-team gun battles?
Yeah, no, I don't. I think that they're kind of hokey. I mean, that it's appropriate for this type of movie because it's sort of a throwback to when that stuff was popular, but
Mhm.
I think that yeah, it just doesn't hit as hard as the first movie, so of course that's going to be the case because you can't replicate the same thing over and over again and expect to have like verisimilitude in that regard. So I try to give it as much benefit of the doubt as I can. I just don't think that I was incredibly compelled by the movie, so it's a 4 or 5 for me.
Okay,
Sounds good.
fair
Well,
enough.
altogether that gives us a 4.8. Not bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Not a terrible rating at all. In fact, I think it should be right on par for this. Um, Side note, not a side note, but about this. So apparently, Rotten
We
Tomatoes
can't hear
gives
you.
this.
Yeah, you got to get close to your mic, man.
Oh man, we fixed that right now.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. Apparently, Rotten Tomatoes gave this a 0.
Wow.
So
What?
yeah, well
That's because they're a bunch of racists.
we know
Yeah,
Rotten Tomatoes
that's
isn't
definitely
real.
racism.
That's racist. But we let's be real. We know overall Rotten Tomatoes isn't real. So we have more proof about that. But I think 4.8 is actually a really solid review rating for this film. If you're not trying to suck member balls.
Yeah, I think it has a 6 on IMDb, and all of the reviews I read are just like, "Oh, so nostalgic," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, see, that's
So
like
yeah,
if you really want the nostalgia factor, then you might rate it a little bit higher." But I think we're just kind of nostalgia fatigued.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I'm like again, it was nice, but that's not really what you want when you're watching an old flick. You really want it to at least be something
Made me want to go
fresh.
watch the first one, to be honest.
Same,
Yeah,
same,
yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, with that being said, I mean, hey, we gave you guys a review. We talked about it a little bit. We gave you some of the beats. As usual, I walked you through the movie, held your hand, even made sure you crossed the street and looked both ways. All we ask, all that there is to do now is to give us your own rating in the comments. Tell us how you felt about it, some thoughts about the movie if you have seen it, some thoughts about our review if you've seen the movie, and or if you haven't seen the movie, some thoughts about our review. And by all means, tell your friends, tell your family, hit that like, subscribe, share, and don't forget that little bell so that you know the next time we go live and we drop another video reviewing something you might be interested in. Right now, we're in the midst of Hot D Season 2. Yeah. So don't forget to check us out on Sundays to
Oh
check
yeah,
out House of the Dragon as we give you guys the next few episodes of that. Be prepared
yeah.
because
Episode 5 and 6 this week.
mhm, mhm. Be prepared for our reviews on that because it's slightly more interesting than this, but only because we've given it that time.
These are the days of our nights.
The days
Yes.
of our nights and hot box eating in the medieval times.
Yikes. I think you mean Swamp Box.
Yeah, yeah. I know it was some Shrek, that was a Shrek dress that he was up under.
Oh, you saw that?
What that she looked like Fiona?
The video that I sent to the group
I
that was
don't think I
comparing it
watched
to
it.
Shrek.
Oh no, I didn't watch that. Not
Uh,
yet, at least. I just went. I was sitting at work the other day, and I thought to myself, "Hmm, She did look like Princess Fiona, or Allison does look like Princess Fiona."
Yeah, she does. Yep, yep.
But with that being said, Axel F has been reviewed. We appreciate you guys once again for hanging out. What's up, Siobhan? Again, thank you for hanging out again. And tell your friends if they watching that hot D over there to come on over and see what we got to say about it. I mean, she's a female, so I can't really pause that,
That's true.
but I understand. Uh, with that being said, thank you guys for hanging out once again. For Screen Time Continuum, my name is Keelan.
I'm Nick.
and I might.
And that's probably the shortest segue I've ever given to an exit.
Yeah. Well done.
I'll try.
Bravissimo.